There are 3 over there. Watch out! I got this.
This is actually kind of fun.
Hopefully, our friends on the ground are also faring well. Our bubbles will only last a little while longer before we need to recharge.
Franklin, watch out!
Good thing I still remember my training from the early days of the Shadow Brigade.
I got the overseers over here. Constance, behind you!
Is this the best you got?
Scavengers are taken out for now, but we need to recharge.
We can aid you down here until then.
You fools think you are a match for the armies of Obscitans Abyssus? These possessed beings are only the beginning.
Who is this?
It is I, Yulat, and I will enjoy taking out the rest of you Shadow Brigade fools.
And what does that mean?
Obscitans Abyssus resurrected your home world and allowed me to go and cause misery and suffering in your beautiful friends' lives.
Why? What's the point?
Chaos, the driver of madness and despair. A beautiful world.
Just another puppet of the shadows. What makes you think Obscitans Abyssus cares about you?
Care? I do not have your human emotions and egos. I live through the suffering of others, and Obscitans Abyssus gave it to me. To us. The other generals are having fun with your other friends. Contemplataria is having fun with the Aishi, and Aqua Martua is making life miserable for your green bullfighting friends' homeworld. And now, your story ends here. Obscitans Abyssus knows the Dream Priest is on his way, so you are all expendable now. Do not worry, I will make sure your lead friends stay alive. We have other plans for them.
Run! Find the Dream Priest. Stop the shadows.
Kian, you can't hold them for long!
I can't hold them long enough to allow you all to escape. Now go, before it's too late.
Kian, we can help you.
No! Just go. It is the least I can do to make up for my betrayal. This is my destiny. Look at the sky through the collapsed roof. The eclipse is starting. This is the chance to take back the Master Realm.
Thank you, Kian. We won't forget you. Maybe there's hope for you still. If Mario returns like the demon said, he could possibly save you.
My life is not important, but just know I am truly sorry and consider you all my friends. Now go! I cannot hold them for much longer. I must incapacitate them. With my last breath, I show the true power of the Overseers, channeling all the lost souls from eons of war. From within, I banish thee to the void! Welcome to the quest for the Green Ball, the war within. Our long journey is almost at an end as we enter Green Bowl Championship and Place Match Week. Draft picks and pride will be on the line, as well as the Green Bowl Championship, of course. But how did we end up at this point, and who are the last two contenders remaining? Let's get right to the results with the semifinals. Number 2 Golden Ticket started the season 7-0, tying the best start in league history. But injuries made things interesting, and they ended up winning the Power Division and securing a first-round bye in the last week. But they never quite regained their early season dominant form, and their dream of a title ended with a thud, as number 6, the Clash at Demonhead, crushed them 119.94 to 71.34. Christian McCaffrey led the way with 146 yards and 2 touchdowns on Monday night, but the match was already decided by then. James Cook was a beast with 134 yards and 2 scores, and Zay Flowers ended up with 102 yards and a rushing touchdown, though he did lose a fumble. Aaron Rodgers also threw a touchdown pass, and the Bears' defense added 2 sacks and a fumble recovery. Player to watch, Romeo Doubs, really set the stage here with 84 yards and a touchdown on Saturday. On the other side, player to watch, Bucky Irving, disappointed in a big way with just 71 rushing yards. And really, there were many disappointments on an injured team. Lamar Jackson never regained his form this season, and he hurt his back in this game too. Drake London clearly wasn't 100% either with the down game. George Pickens did finish with 130 yards and a touchdown, and Teteroy McMillan ended up with 73 yards and a touchdown. Dallas Goedert also caught a touchdown. For the Clash at Demonhead, they are off to their first career Green Bowl and will be the very first number 6 seed to play in the biggest match of the season, as they won for the 10th time in 2025. Golden Ticket falls to 10-5 and will play in the third place match. In the other semifinal, league rookie and top seed Treatham and Yeetum look to become just the third top seed to ever make the Green Bowl in 11 seasons. Number 4, Remember the Titans, stood in their way, however, as they looked to make the championship for the 4th time. And it all came down to Monday night. George Kittle stepped up in a big way as Remember the Titans outlasted Treatham and Yeetum 119.8 to 102.16. Kittle finished with 115 yards and a touchdown despite missing most of the second half with an ankle injury. Drake May was key with 380 passing yards and a couple of touchdowns, and RJ Harvey ended up collecting 121 yards and a score. Jamar Gibbs had a late touchdown to help his cause, while Jackson Smith and Jigba collected 96 yards and a touchdown. Player to watch, Jamar Chase, had an okay game with 109 yards. On the other side, Treatham and Yeetum bench player to watch, David Montgomery, who ended up with just 14 yards as the Lions were forced to pass for most of the second half. That hurt by allowing Gibbs more opportunities on the other side. But Kenneth Gainwell was clearly the better choice in the lineup, 128 yards and a touchdown. Jared Goff finished with 364 passing yards and 3 touchdowns, while Jonathan Taylor and T. Higgins also reached the end zone. The Texans' defense also added a touchdown, but in the end, the dream rookie campaign of Treatham and Yeetum ended as they fall to 10-5 this season. They will play Golden Ticket in the third place match. Remember, the Titans can celebrate league history as they are now 12-4 on the year. They will be making their 4th Green Bowl appearance, a league record, and they are the first team to make back-to-back Green Bowls for a second time in their career. Now they are 1 win away from joining the elite club of 2-time champions. Besides those huge matchups, there were also 2 consolation semifinal matches going on last week. The Overcomers took on the Stellar Bitches and won 74.3 to 64.32. Saquon Barkley ended up being the key here with 132 yards and a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Waiver pickup Ramondre Stevenson also stepped up with 78 yards, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion. Ladd McConkey and Juwan Jennings also reached the end zone. The Overcomers move to 8-7 and will play for a consolation title. The Stellar Bitches fall to 5-11 and will play in the 9th place match. The Fighting Mooses won their 7th match of the season as they bested Green Acres 138.5 to 79.98. Jalen Warren finished with 151 yards and 2 touchdowns to lead the way, while Chris Olave added 148 yards and 2 scores.
Kenneth Walker had 164 yards and a 50-plus yard TD, while Jalen Hurts collected 2 touchdowns. Michael Wilson and Kyle Pitts also reached the end zone. The Fighting Mooses are now 7-9 and will play the Overcomers in the Consolation Final with a chance to win the number 3 pick in the draft in 2026 and to follow in the footsteps of other Consolation Final winners who went on to make playoff runs the following season. Green Acres falls to 6-9 and will play in the 9th place match against the Stellar Bitches and will hope to at least earn the number 2 pick in the draft in 2026 to salvage a very disappointing end to the year so far. So here we are, 1 week to play, 2 teams, 1 dream. It will be number 4, Remember the Titans, against number 6, the Clash at Demonhead, for the 2025 And before we get to the Green Bowl Championship preview, let's check back in on our friends as they continue to fight for all of our lives in the Master Realm.
I'm back. What was that? Visions are flooding my mind. The void just opened and closed. My friends, they are in danger. I need to save them.
So, Dream Priest, you have returned to us. We have been waiting for you. Do you really think you can defeat us? We are the supreme rulers of the Master Realm. So tell us, where did you go? We need to know your secrets.
Do you think I'm really gonna chat with you? Your time is up.
Do you really believe we want to talk with you? It is time we entered your mind. We have been dying to know more.
Ah!
Interesting. There is a darkness in you. C-Tech? This is a strange turn of events. You will be more useful to us than we thought.
You underestimate me.
So, you are more than just a Dream Priest. We had a feeling, but Elder Bloodline magic is a surprise. You are the heir to the throne. This is the chaos we dream about. We shall have even more power through you.
Think again. You're in my mind now. I call the shots.
Yes, the darkness in you is strong.
Obscitans Abyssus, I will do your bidding.
No! That isn't going to work this time. I'm stronger than you think.
It doesn't matter. C-Tech will always be a part of you. And if you do not give in, we will force you to watch your friends die.
No, this is a lie.
Is it now? Your destiny is to sit on the throne and the eclipse is starting again. You now have to choose between that destiny and saving your friends. Which one will it be?
Mario, it is I, Kian. Do not listen to the shadows. In their chaos, they are still bound to the prophecy. They are not as free as they think.
Who is that? Kian? How did you?
He sacrificed himself for my friends at the same time I returned. I took him into my mind.
Mario, in my sacrifice and death, I learned a valuable lesson. Destiny is an illusion. Prophecies are not what they seem. It is always still your choice. And the options are up to you. I chose to save everyone instead of fulfilling the Overseer's destiny. You can choose to save your friends and stop the shadows.
Of course. The armies are tied to your power. If you're taken from here, they have a chance. The eclipse allows me to sit on the throne, and the residual energy inside the green bowl will enter me as soon as it reaches full power.
Enough of this. Give yourself to us or everyone dies.
No!
What is this? No! How are you doing this? If you think we will be held for long, you are mistaken. This pitiful magic cannot hold us.
You forget. It can hold you long enough for a new champion to be crowned.
The computers love Remember the Titans in this one. They come in with a 79% chance to win, and that is with the computers thinking that the Clash at Demonhead will score 115 points. This is because the computers expect Remember the Titans to drop 142 points, which is one of the craziest projections I've ever seen in a green bowl in any match, to be honest. The problem with projections is that they don't take into account game script, weather, luck, touchdown vultures, or multiple touchdown beast games. So don't think that the Clash at Demonhead are automatically doomed here. Remember the Titans is the favorite, but 142 points is still incredibly tough to get. Jamar Gibbs, for example, plays at Minnesota, which is not as easy as a matchup as the computers want to project. RJ Harvey takes on Kansas City. That might be easier now, but Kansas City's been tough on running backs. On the other side, James Cook and Christian McCaffrey have interesting matchups, and that they aren't actually as difficult as the computers think, besides maybe the matchup against the Bears. Trevor Lawrence has been a beast the past few weeks, and Drake May takes on the hapless Jets team that might allow the Patriots to run all over them and play backups in the second half. The true key to me is at wide receiver and tight end. Jackson Smith and Jigba and Jamar Chase are clear advantages over Alec Pierce and Zay Flowers. Flowers is trending up, though, and Pierce just had a beast game and might be in a do-or-die match depending on what happens against the Texans on Saturday. George Kittle's health will need to be watched, but Jawan Johnson on the other side is touchdown dependent. Remember, the Titans is a big advantage in the flex, too. If Travion Henderson is healthy, or even if he's not, because there's lots of options on his bench, Travis Kelce will have a third stringer thrown his way. So clearly the Clash at Demonhead have a disadvantage there. Both kickers should get opportunities, and both defenses should have good matchups. The Patriots take on the Jets, while the Lions could get a Max Brosmer-led Vikings team. So yes, on paper, this is Remember the Titans match to lose. However, there are Green Bowl MVP candidates, the guys who are on fire in the playoffs and can turn all projections upside down with a huge game. The Clash at Demonhead's Green Bowl MVP candidates include a player they benched the past two games and still somehow won. Quarterback Trevor Lawrence has been a maniac for the Jaguars the last couple of weeks. 10 total touchdowns. Threw for 330 and 270 yards while rushing for 51 and 20 yards respectively, showing off his versatility. Lawrence also hasn't thrown an interception since week 12. This week he goes up against the Colts defense. They're ranked 17th against quarterbacks with 23 touchdowns allowed and 13 interceptions. They also just got torched by Brock Purdy on Monday night for 5 touchdowns. Christian McCaffrey is obviously going to be another Green Bowl MVP candidate besides Lawrence. McCaffrey has 190 rushing yards and 43 receiving yards to go with 3 total touchdowns the past 2 weeks. McCaffrey gets a Bears defense that's ranked 10th against running backs, allowing 8 touchdowns on the ground and 3 through the air. But the Bears tend to be in close games, and the 49ers like to run the ball. McCaffrey can easily beat the matchup with volume alone. But the top Green Bowl MVP candidate for the Clash at Demonhead, it's got to be James Cook, right? Cook has had 224 rushing yards and 21 receiving yards to go with 5 total touchdowns the past 2 weeks. That is the kind of production that's going to get you a championship. He also averaged 7.3 yards per carry last week against the Browns. And this week, he gets the Eagles defense, which is ranked 24th against running backs this season. They've allowed 16 total touchdowns to the position, including 12 on the ground. They are streaky, though, in that they were torched by the Bears and hurt by the Commanders on the ground in the past 4 weeks, but they also stuffed the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Lions in the past 6 weeks, which is crazy. If I had to guess, Lawrence and Cook are two players that Clash at Demonhead will need to have MVP-type weeks to get them the title here. But as for Remember the Titans, I mean, they have such a solid team of players. And it's actually why some of the players that I would have guessed to be Green Bowl candidates early on can't be chosen from my list of 3 here. You know, several players have had some disappointing weeks, really, or just okay games the past couple weeks. Now, again, I do want to say more weight for the Green Bowl MVP is given to the Green Bowl performance itself, but the entire playoffs are taken into account. So I look at 3 guys here. I'm beginning with Jamar Chase, wide receiver for the Bengals, a trade pickup for Remember the Titans as well from Golden Ticket. Chase hasn't caught a touchdown so far in the playoffs, but he does have 241 receiving yards the past 2 games and clearly has helped Remember the Titans. He's done his job. Chase faces the Cardinals this week in a meaningless game with an angry Joe Burrow looking to decimate teams after last week. The Cardinals are ranked 13th against wideouts, allowing 11 touchdowns to the position. A lot of this is due to how they tend to get run over and blown out, though. This isn't because they're like some amazing defense. They did allow Nico Collins and Puka Nacua to score multiple times against them in the past few weeks, and tight end Kyle Pitts scored against them last week, who runs routes like a wide receiver in the red zone. Another Green Bowl MVP candidate is Patriots quarterback Drake May. May didn't have the greatest game to start the playoffs, but still rushed for 43 yards and 2 touchdowns while adding 155 passing yards. Last week, he had 2 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, and 380 passing yards while rushing for 25 yards. He did throw interceptions in both matchups, but this week he gets the Jets, and they spell misery. They're ranked 25th against the quarterbacks this season. The Jets they've allowed 26 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns to the position. They also had no interceptions. You heard that right. 0 interceptions. Trevor Lawrence had his 6th total touchdown game against this defense just 2 weeks ago. And even Tyler Shaw threw for 308 yards against this team, making him look like he's elite. May only had 281 yards and a touchdown against the Jets in Week 11, but that could mean he's due to go up now, which I'm sure Remember the Titans would love. Still, I have to look at wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba as the true Green Bowl MVP candidate for Remember the Titans. Smith-Njigba has 209 receiving yards and 1 touchdown in the past 2 weeks. But he's been one of, if not the best wide receiver in fantasy this season, and he could easily go off for both yards and touchdowns in any match. He gets the Panthers defense this week. They're ranked 14th against the position, right in the middle. They've allowed 12 total touchdowns to wideouts, but 5 of those have come in the past 4 weeks. And this includes scores to Chris Olave, Mike Evans, Juwan Jennings, and 2 touchdowns to Devontae Adams. If there was ever a time for Smith-Njigba to get multiple scores and a beast week, it could be this time, especially with number 1 seed being on the line for Seattle as a team in the NFL. Regardless of who steps up and what happens, both Remember the Titans and the Clash at Demonhead should be proud to make it this far and have a shot. Winning a title is not easy, and while luck is involved, so is coaching, being solid with the waiver wire pickups, trades if you need them, and the draft comes into play too when it comes to your studs on your squad. This should be a fun match, and of course, may the best team win. Now, we do also have place matches to preview this week. Draft position and pride will be on the line. We start with the Dick Butt Bowl as 2-time champion Loki Lebowski Thor takes on 2024 champion Pounders. The winner gets the number 1 pick in 2026. The losing squad gets the number 4 pick and will be known as the Dick Butt all year. At the moment, Pounders has a 90% chance to win because moves need to be made on the other side. Chase Brown versus Javonte Williams, Trey McBride versus Harold Fannin, and CeeDee Lamb versus Brian Thomas are key spots to watch, especially for Lebowski Thor, who are looking to salvage a rough season. It is crazy that this was a quarterfinal match just a year ago. Green Acres takes on the Stellar Bitches in the 9th place match and has a 63% chance to win. The winning team gets the number 2 pick, while the losing team will get the number 5 pick. Dak Prescott versus Baker Mayfield, Bijan Robinson versus Kyron Williams, and Jamison Williams versus Jordan Addison look to be keys. Don't sleep on the Saints versus 49ers defense battle with the edge to Green Acres. The Fighting Mooses face the Overcomers in an all-Dream Division Consolation Final. The winner gets the number 3 pick, with the losing team getting the number 7 pick. The Overcomers come in with a 52% chance to win. Josh Allen versus Jalen Hurts, and a head-to-head matchup between those two teams will be very interesting. Saquon Barkley versus Kenneth Walker, Nico Collins versus Ladd McConkey, and Kyle Pitts versus Jake Ferguson will be key spots to watch too. And the match may come down to the Seahawks versus Broncos defense battle. The Stars Are Right team takes on Thor Lacker in the 5th place match. The winner gets the number 8 pick, with the losing team getting the number 12 pick. And at the moment, my team somehow has a 73% chance to win, not sure how. Jacoby Brissett versus Justin Herbert, Devon Achane versus Derrick Henry, Puka Nacua versus Cortland Sutton, and Ashton Genty versus DeAndre Swift look to be key. And then there's the Kaimi Fairbairn versus Will Reichert kicker battle, with Fairbairn getting the clear edge that might actually be a difference. Lastly, Golden Ticket faces Treatum and Yeetum in the 3rd place match. The winner gets the number 9 pick, with the losing team getting the number 11 pick. Treatum and Yeetum has a 58% chance to win. Jared Goff versus Lamar Jackson, if healthy, is key for Golden Ticket, obviously. Jonathan Taylor versus Bucky Irving, the Sun God versus George Pickens, Drake London versus T. Higgins, and the Texans defense versus the Rams defense look to be keys to the victory here. It always seems like the season goes so fast, 4 months, literally in a blink of an eye, but here we are. 1 more week to play, and only one team will be on top when all the dust settles. That's the show for the week. Hope you enjoyed it. Join us next week to see what the final results actually were in our matches, and to close out our Master Realm battle with the Obscitans Abyssus. Until next time, salut.